regulations and acts in Canada. This mostly will focus in on how to do the searching for this. So just for reference, Ottawa is the capital of Canada, so this is where we'll get the federal regulations. So we'll just go in to Google and Canada. So consolidated regulations, open it up. So there's two types. There's the website and then there's a PDF. I recommend using the PDF. You can just click on the PDF right here. And that's, you didn't see that really quick. So federal regulations, there's HTML with buttons or the PDF. I recommend the PDF. And then with controls, with searching, there's a bottom left-hand corner. There's a CTRL button, which is control. We'll control F, and then you can start searching the document. So you've watched any of my other videos. I always talk about respirators just because keep that theme going. So we see the respiratory protection, and then it's the section. So on the left side of the document is English, and the right side is Francais or French. So we can go through looking at it. So those are all the respiratory examples, skin examples, and then kind of just really quickly, as it's on my desktop. So the Canada Labor Code is the act that gives the regulations the powers. So again, left side is English, right side is French, and we're going through. So we see occupational health and safety. So control F again. So if we type in safety, we can see that there's a lot of references to it. So on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see all the references where it is. So if it's really rich in safety, it's probably where the main body of the document is, just as an informal way of searching. And then another thing we could look at is like harassment, or so kind of how it works is the act gives the regulation the power to enforce. So so like the occupational health and safety officers, if they lay a charge against you or they do an investigation, they're using the regulations, but the act gives them the power to enforce those things. So that's kind of a really quick explanation of that. So again, just control F. So why is there no respiratory things? Well, that's really specific. So that's not going to be in the act, that'll be in the regulations, because that's like how you have to do it is the regulations. So that would be the federal document. And then the provincial document, we can go back into. And this is a map of Saskatchewan and the capital Regina. So this is where the provincial regulations are written, and then the government agencies for health and safety are kind of based out of this city, with regional offices in Saskatoon as well. We'll go real quick, and then so open up a PDF. I recommend saving this on the desktop, and then we can just start going through. So again, control F, respirator. So we see it's section 7-3. So kind of a new thing that happened is the regulations got broken up or into different numbers than they used to have, and new regulations have WMIS in it, and some other documents that the course we'll talk about. They used to be separate documents, were all moved into the current regulations in 2020. So if you want to take a look at this, you can go control F, respirator. So it talks about the definitions of what a respirator is, then going through all the places. So again, you probably can guess where respirator the section is because it's like there's so many comments where it's really thick and brown right here. So it's probably the section. So you can take a guess. The other thing is like with the control F is that there's no logic to it. You have to kind of know what you're looking for before you do the control F, but it does speed up the document search instead of flipping through the pages or using the guide at the front or the back of the book. For this case, we're still learning it. So section 7-3 is the actual regulation right here, 7-3, 7-4. So go find it, or you can just start popping down. So there you go, 7-3. So I just pushed the down button a couple of times and then it jumped to that section. So then that goes through all the respiratory information for the province. So if we go back to Google, we're just going to look up the Discussion Employment Act. You want to be careful which one you're looking at because some of them have the old regulations combined. So let's take a look. The old regulations are not here, so that's good. So we're going to do that CTRL in the bottom F. So control F, look at the respirators. I said before with the federal, so like the respirator stuff is very specific, so it's not actually in the Employment Act. The other thing, if you look at the Employment Act, there's like a lot of stuff that doesn't directly involve safety, like payment of wages, like when wages are paid, employment leave, maternity leaves, like what's a better word to probably look up is safety. So part 3, occupational health and safety, start looking for it. So there's a lot of references to safety in this document. So you probably want to have a way more specific search, but you can tell probably where most of the safety part in the Employment Act is based off where it's red and brown, right? So if we take a look there, so we can just slide this guy down. So right here, so lo and behold, occupational health and safety is on the right side, and then it goes through the definitions of what an employer is, what all the different aspects of health and safety. It's a good idea to know all the terms, just so when you're reading the regulations, you know what it's talking about. For the assignment, you're comparing and contrasting the Federal Employment Act, Provincial Employment Act, and federal regulations and provincial regulations. So again, just going back and forth, trying to figure these out. Thanks for your time. Hopefully this was beneficial.